here's Mansell, who's gone into the pits. Unfortunately, the car stalled and they couldn't restart it. This allowed, of course, Senna to go up into third place.
This close all the way through, but Mansell suddenly slowed and the two Benettons went through and Mansell, hand up, engine problems, back to the pits. Gugelmin was following there. Nigel Mansell in fourth position, and behind him Michele Alboreto, looking threatening as ever in the Ferrari and looking for a way past. So Alboreto went down the inside and nudged the non-resident off into the car park. Get out of the way.
I think it's great. I mean, Monaco was quite good, so I went and played golf with Greg. I mean, I'm persevering with my golf this year. I mean, motor racing I don't know about, but joking apart, obviously I hope to finish this one, but the way things are looking, it's going to be tough.
Nigel Mansell retired from the Mexican Grand Prix. Engine problems, trying to make that Judd engine work extremely hard at the altitude of Mexico City. And Nigel Mansell retired from fifth position with a smoking engine. And there's Nigel Mansell out. That means he retired from every Grand Prix up to this stage in the season. He had to decide whether he went for it or not behind Dalmas as Nigel Mansell retires. That's 7 out of 7 retirements for the Englishman. But Senna under pressure.
But the man of the race, let's face it, has to be Nigel Mansell. There he is, waving to his crowd. Now that crowd have to be worth at least half a second a lap to him. He has driven a fantastic race on these really bad conditions and loved it.
And Mansell into the pits.
And he looks to me as though he wants to retire. He's in 7th place, but wait a minute, the team didn't allow him to, and they sent him out for another go. But Nigel Mansell, with just one 1988 finish to his credit, was fighting back, just a 10th slower than the Brazilian, and with a handicap.
Well, I was obviously suffering from chickenpox last week, and it was at its height about 4 or 5 days ago. I'm very tired. I mean, I must admit, it did knock me for 6 for about 5-6 days.
Are you still running a fever?
No, I was a little hot when I came out of the car, but you're just depleted of energy. It's very difficult, hence why I haven't shaved for a little while, because I still have a few marks on the neck and everything. And
we thought we were going to see the Nigel Mansell moustache returning, accompanied by a Nigel Mansell beard.
No, just a very tired, knackered Nigel Mansell.
Nigel Mansell was back in the Williams and in 6th place on the grid. What exactly had been wrong with the Williams driver to put him out of Grand Prix racing for 6 whole weeks?
It's quite simple, really. I had chickenpox and I had a severe case of it. And my mistake was going against doctor's orders and going to Hungary when the chickenpox was still very toxic. And if you have chickenpox as a child, it's nothing. If you have chickenpox in your teens, it's not too pleasant. If you have it when you're over 20, it can be very acute, and if you have it in your 30s, you're classed as an old man, and it can be critical. And my problem, as I've just stated, was I drove while I still had chickenpox and caused myself a lot of problems.
But back on the track there'd been an incident. Palmer there on that top corner had slowed down Senna, who had been caught by Mansell. Senna managed to get round the slowing Palmer, but Mansell didn't, and he clouted the barriers, and he too was out of the Portuguese race.
I was very happy because I was behind the master. He drove a fantastic race from the start. He knew he had to win, and Alan did an unbelievable job. I got close a few times, but then you get understeer, and then there was no way past unless he makes a mistake, because down the straights you can see on the television is much quicker. So therefore there's no way for me to pass unless he makes a mistake. He's too good to make a mistake today.
In 14th position, Nigel Mansell hit the back of Derek Warwick. Warwick being assaulted from behind yet again. Those two. But suddenly here was Mansell at the side of the track. Sterling, what happened?
He was lapping Piquet when they collided, and he launched right up into the air and into retirement.
So that was Mansell out, and Piquet continued in his 20th position. But Mansell a little bit disgruntled about that, and Piquet actually said afterwards he was suffering from double vision.
Fastest of the normally aspirated cars, Nigel Mansell was 3rd quickest in his last drive for Williams. But in between golf matches, he wasn't paying his team any compliments when it came to the race prospects.
We look like we've shot ourselves in the foot again, or shall I say the team have shot themselves in the foot, because we've got brake problems. It looks like our brakes are going to wear out before the end of the race.
That's something really that has happened to everybody, hasn't it, over the past? This really has a sting in the tail, this race.
Yes, but I mean, historically, when it's happened to you before, you should sort of make amends and put it right, and it looks like we've got quite a significant problem. I mean, they've forecasted, I won't say exactly how many laps, but it's well before the end of the race that we won't have any brakes. So, I mean, I'm already now thinking for the first sort of 20 laps on full tanks that I don't go racing. I mean, I just sit there and maybe let a lot of people come past me, because unless you get to the end of the race with brakes, you can't race.
1 lap later, Nigel Mansell manages to outdo his teammate by parking his Williams firmly in the barrier. I don't know about you, but I don't think there was a particularly generous going away present to his old team.
Well, I thought it was unfortunate for Mansell because he'd pushed really hard during this, his last Grand Prix for Williams, and he certainly did deserve to end up in the barriers, but there we are.